Hello everybody, my name is Shortline 614 and welcome to episode 17 of Shortline Space Program. In this episode, we're going to be doing multiple things, but the main thing that we're going to be doing is we're going to be sending our first crew out to Challenger Station. So naturally, the first thing that we need to do is get crew up to Columbia Station. We are launching our crew transfer vehicle, and if you have a better name for this, please comment down below, which is, it's my Sierra Nevada Dream Chaser, I guess it's based off of it, well, it can carry 6 Kerbals, but today it is only carrying 5. Those Kerbals down there, I don't know all their names, Judlow, Smudmore, Grigory, and 2 others. 2 of them are going to be going out. They're going to be piloting the space bus, which I have yet to launch, which will be ferrying crew back and forth between those 2 stations. And Gregory and his crew is going to become the first crew on Challenger Station. And the launch escape system for this is fairly interesting. It's 2 of those small solid rocket boosters. And I've tested this before. I think I've flown this once before on stream up to the station, and it works pretty well. As you can see, it's heavily based off of Dream Chaser, although not entirely. Just getting a nice rendezvous. Of course, everything here is at 4 times speed. The Chesapeake 30 launch vehicle was probably a bit of a mistake. It's kind of overpowered. It's overpowered. I almost have all of the fuel in the upper stage space tug left, we'll be sending that out to a very special location very soon. Obviously, the CTV has the main crew compartment, the space plane, and then we have the service module, which is meant for us to get us, into the proper orbit to rendezvous. But as you can see, I already did that already. I guess I can make a special version of the Chesapeake without the upper stage tug with just the service module. That's a note for future missions. Anyways, as you can see, we're getting in close to to Columbia Station. I go ahead and I ditch that upper stage tug, but its mission is nowhere near over yet. I go ahead and I obviously point myself towards the lift station. And this is actually going to be the first time that the CTV has been an operational mission. As I said, I have flown this once before as a test, and it works well enough. But we're going to come in close to Columbia Station. If you are joining in late, or if you don't remember, we already have a crew up there of 3. In that little pod over there, they're due to come down in about 65 days' time. But, after we get the space bus up here, the CTV is actually going to be quite empty because all of these Kerbals piloting the CTV are going out to their own destinations. So Expedition 2 is actually going to come down on the CTV and the pod. I don't know what we're going to do with that. I'm pretty sure it's going to either burn up in the atmosphere full of trash or whatever. I'm pretty sure it has a probe core. If it doesn't, we can always just send 2 down in the CTV and 1 down in the pod. Looking at it now, it doesn't actually have a pod, so I guess that's what we're going to be doing. Which is all fine and good. I want to clear that docking port for future CTVs because this is going to be the first. This is going to be our main craft for getting Kerbals from the surface to Kerbin, from the surface to Kerbin, from Kerbin, the surface of Kerbin, to the Columbia Station here. Anyways, I go up and I dock. Fairly simple procedure. Of course, using some of those adapters on the crew and docking module. I go ahead and I disable the CTV because it's going to be up there for at least another 65 days. At the very minimum. Here we go. Pictures of the station, stuff like that. But that's not the thumbnail. The thumbnail for this video, because I didn't really get any good photos of the CTV or the space bus, is something very special. So my first idea for this tug was just to do what I normally do. It's full of fuel, you know. I can just dock to the station, you know, harvest it for its fuel, and then deorbit the rest. But, well, I had another idea, and that idea was to use this as a test of my relay network. Now, I haven't actually sent anything out to the Mun in this save yet, but I do eventually want to build a Mun colony in the not-so-distant future. So my idea was, okay, I can send the upper stage tug out to the Mun, and I can treat it as a kind of test to see if the my very poorly constructed relay system works around the Mun. And well, spoiler alert, it does, but this becomes something very different than a simple relay test. Neither does it become another idea that I had is I send it out there and I actually make this first part of what is it? What would the station be called? Discovery Station, because Discovery was the third operational shuttle built. But this becomes well, you'll see in a bit. You see, if you get the thumbnail, you'll know what I might be doing. So I go ahead and I warp out to the Mun, not really big of a deal. And I get into an orbit around the Mun, and I, begin to adjust my inclination and whatnot, because this thing needs to be not perfectly equatorial, it needs to be in a equatorial orbit, which I did not come in over the Mun, so we just do all that. That takes a while, and plus it's also, doing this to test the relay network. The relay works fine, which is good to know that I actually don't need to put up a second relay around the relay network around the Mun. What else? I guess I could, this is a really poor segue, but I guess you might be, this is coming out on Thursday night, and I actually want to get Shortline Space Program out on a consistent schedule, releasing each Thursday night. So that would require a lot of recording in advance, which I really haven't done. So hopefully, luckily, winter break is starting, so I can get a whole bunch of Shortline Space Program episodes recorded, and hopefully I could get so far ahead that I don't actually have to worry about when these things will release. Because, haha, funny YouTube algorithm. But anyways, I performed the burn to get super low over the Mun, 6.5 kilometers above sea level. Of course, there's no seas. I guess you could... There really aren't seas on the Mun. There's no water. Well, there is water on the Mun. But you know what I mean. On sea level on Earth is where the level where the ocean is at, and sea level on the Mun, I guess, would be the lowest point. But actual altitude, it ranges anywhere from 800 meters to about 4 kilometers. But my goal is to get this into a 6.5 times 6.5 kilometer orbit. So we could, this is going to be rather useful to scout out, at least as a preliminary thing, to scout out certain locations, and a low-flying probe around the Mun is just kind of cool. Of course, in real life, you wouldn't be able to do this because the Moon's gravity in real life is very... the Moon's gravity varies wildly, and that causes, unless you put something in a very specific orbit, the gravity will naturally cause it to deorbit and crash at frightening speeds. That's actually a question. Yeah, I'm pretty sure all of the lunar module ascent stages actually crashed into the Mun, or the Moon, which is all fine and good. Anyways, but we are in a very specific orbit because I wanted to fly by a very special location, a location that is dear to my heart, and one that I will probably end up building our Mun colony at. If you've explored the Mun a lot like I have, you probably know. Based off of where we are, what location we are coming up upon, and actually slow it down from 4 times speed to normal speed, I think right about now, yeah. So this is normal speed. This was me live, and as you can see, it's quite frightening. You get frighteningly low to the ground at times. But of course, this massive crater, the crater rims, my screen going black for just a second, me zooming in, noise background, because dumb. I'm dumb and never record these at optimum times. And when I try to do, I get massive migraines. But there is the Monarch, right there. We're almost level with it. I think we're only about, where the Monarch is and where we are is only about 1 kilometer's difference. And of course, that is the thumbnail for the video. Even though it is arguably the least important part of the video, it's just, I went to record, I went to go make the thumbnail, and I realized I didn't really have any good screenshots from this that weren't just, like, pictures of the station. That's another note to self. So that's the thumbnail. It is certainly the coolest part of the video, I like to think. And, well, I end up pausing the game and whatnot, and, well, I guess I forgot to cut this out. But, no, I did. I go back. Anyways, it is now time to launch the space bus. Now, of course, the space bus is going to be a vehicle that it's nuclear powered. It's a nuclear powered rocket that transfers crew from Columbia Station to Challenger Station and eventually to Discovery Station and, you know, around the Kerbal system. Of course, launching this on the workhorse of the space program, one of the Chesapeake variants. You know, I think the vast majority of launches have been with this rocket. Maybe I should, of course, in real life, I've said this multiple times, you can only really do the things that I'm doing in this game if you had cheap rockets that could be launched fairly inexpensively, which means you have to make them reusable. But in sandbox mode, Kerbal Space Program, I don't have to worry about such things. So, yeah, this isn't the exact... I could be doing this so much more realistically, but I'm just doing this for fun and because I like to. Anyways, there's the space bus. As you can see, it can carry 6 Kerbals. I was actually thinking the other day that I might eventually need another one of these, but, and who really knows? Inside that little silvery starship stainless steel container, there are, that's fuel. There are some of the fuselages. So this actually has a lot of Delta V. And of course you have 3 Nerva engines on the bottom. And of course it has come out recently with Space Policy Directive 6, I think, that the Nerva program is going to be, well, not exactly reactivated. A Nerva, we're nuclear rockets, basically. And hopefully that continues because, haha, NASA's in a good place like right now, and I don't want it to stop. And I know everyone's all doom and gloom, but I'm getting way off topic. Anyways, yet again, me forgetting to review my footage and pausing the game. Anyways, I go ahead and I uncouple that tug. That tug, we're just going to deorbit it. It has nowhere near enough fuel to actually be useful. I think we'd spend all of the fuel actually trying to rendezvous unless we just use strictly RCS. But we have way more RCS than we would ever need. Coming into the station, of course, this is going to be docking on the front of the docking module, the crew and docking module. So we actually came in at the wrong end of the station. And I go ahead and I set the right target, and I fly forward, and then I turn around. This thing is rather long, which is, I actually quite like the look of this. One of the concerns I was having was I would need radiators, but turns out I actually don't need them. Of course, if I figure out later that, yes, this thing does need radiators, Kerbal Space Program version 1.11 is coming out actually later today, in about an hour and a half when I'm recording this voiceover. So I could go ahead and I could take one of my engineers and I could attach radiators on it if I really wanted it to. 1.11 shouldn't really affect my save game all that much because all of my mods are strictly cosmetic. Even then, I have backed up the save, which is nice. And it's, if we, for whatever reason, we had to continue this in 1.10, that'd be all fine and good, because new lights in RCS and obviously the whole Kerbal Engineer stuff the Kerbal engineering stuff is quite useful, but it isn't necessary for the running of my program. At least not yet. When we go to build bases, that's going to come in a lot of handy. Anyway, we have 3 manned crafts attached to the station. However, this isn't going to be attached for long. The first thing we have to do is we have to go ahead and we have to deorbit this. I tried to deorbit it over the Kerbal Space Center so we could get some remnants, because one of the last stages that we deorbited, parts of it actually survived. But unfortunately, I failed to get this thing over the KSC, and it just kind of doesn't exactly burn up on re-entry. It just kind of ditches into the water. Not too far from the KSC. Anyways, getting back to the main focus for today, I guess. I go ahead and I transfer our crew from the CTV to the space bus. And, well, that's 6 Kerbals in there. 2 of them are going to be permanent pilots, those 2 in the Mark II lander can. Judless and Munro. Judless is a pilot, Munro is an engineer. Engineers are quite useful now. The engineers have been made a lot more useful in KSP with the most recent update, which is good. And then Grigory and his crew are going to be the first crew of Expedition 1 for Columbia Challenger Station. And one thing, looking back on it, one thing that I forgot to do was to set a Kerbal alarm clock, which, that's all. I can just easily go into the game and do that, but I don't want to do anything because I want to see how 1.11 affects the save game. But anyways, we set up our maneuver node for Minmus. And, well, trans Minmus injection burn will begin rather soon, in about a minute from now. Of course, well, a minute in-game, or right now, actually. I typically start to burn before the maneuver node activates, and also, this is all running at 4 times speed. Another thing that I suddenly forgot to do is I forgot to deploy the antenna on this craft. It's fine. One of the benefits of actually coming back and doing the series is I catch things in post, like while watching and editing, that I would never catch. Because I'm fairly aloof. I would never actually catch in game. Unfortunately, half the time I never actually go ahead and do it. I should probably start taking notes. I will go ahead and actually do that after this recording. After I get the video up and all that. This is almost certainly going to be a premiere because haha funny premieres. Haha, I don't just drop a video, I don't know. This is going to be a premiere. I guess I have to premiere it now that I said that. Anyways, I didn't get a perfect Minmus encounter, which means that we're gonna have to do not necessarily a mid-course correction. We're gonna have to do a correction burn. To actually, excuse me, yawning, to actually, get a Minmus encounter. Now, of course, everything in Minmus is in a retrograde orbit, which, kind of sucks, but, well, I could change that, but honestly, there's no real point. I know it's a waste of Delta V and whatnot, but it's not. Minmus is small enough, and the Delta V margins are small enough that it really doesn't matter. Getting into Minmus orbit probably costs more than Delta V than doing anything in Minmus orbit actually, which is fine. You know, right now, actually getting into Minmus orbit, burning off 800 meters a second of fuel. If we just had normal fuel, if we weren't using nuclear rocket engines, I don't think we would have been able to do this. Or we would, it would just be a lot more fuel. Like, this thing has enough Delta V margins to easily return to Columbia Station. So yeah, haha, funny, proper orbit. Nah, we only do retrograde, like Israel. Because Israel launches all their satellites retrograde because they don't want to launch them over hostile Arab countries. Which, funny thing about that actually, Israel's rocket, I always forget the name, but the amount of payload, because it launches in a retrograde orbit, the amount of payload it can launch is actually cut in half, because you don't get the free boost in velocity that you get by going prograde, because when you're going prograde, you're rotating the same way as Earth. Which is, that's nice. It's only about like 500 meters a second more of delta V, like in real life, that you would need to get into orbit, but I mean, it is nice. It does save on like weight and fuel and a lot of other things. Anyways, we are here at the station, and I go ahead and I set the target docking port, and I go ahead, and I go ahead and I dock to, well, now I have the hiccups all of a sudden. Oh, great. I'm not re-recording this. This is the 5th time of re-recording this. You're getting whatever I put out. I mean, you don't have to watch the video, but if you watched this far, I assume you're not going to suddenly, stop. Damn it, I lost my train of thought. Oh yeah, we're docking this. First crew. Grigory and his crew, because I can't remember the 2 other Kerbal names, because Kerbal names are a weird thing. But I think that's mostly going to be it for this episode. Yeah, that's all we do. The episode is, it's pretty much over. Thank you all for watching. Please, if you're on YouTube or BitChute, please, like, subscribe, comment. I do live streams on YouTube and Twitch fairly often, so if you want to catch any of those, including some Shortline Space Program live streams, go ahead and do that. I have a Discord server where, if you want to talk to me for whatever reason, go ahead and do that. And I'll leave you on a picture of Challenger Station, the now crewed Challenger Station. I don't know what I'm going to do in the next episode. I'll probably figure it out, but I'll see y'all in the next one. Goodbye.